welcome back to Live at FDIC. My name is Chris McClune. I'll be your host for this segment, and all podcasts this week are being brought to you by Firehouse Subs, the firefighter-founded hot sub chain with a passion for hearty and flavorful food, heartfelt service, and public safety. Ready for your next mission? Firehouse Subs is offering firefighters the opportunity to continue serving after service now as restaurant owners. Learn more at www.firehousesubsfranchising.com. Well, FDIC has clearly begun because we hear the bagpipers coming around. So if we have to pause and watch and respect the pipers, we'll do that for just a second. I am here today with Jason LaFond and Rich Katanis from Skydio. We're going to be talking about DFR, which is Drone as First Responder, and we're going to be talking about how that's a game changer for the fire service. But we are going to we're going to let the pipers go by just now, so enjoy the pipers while you wait. They'll be coming around this way. I saw Nancy walk by.
Those guys are going all day.
Was that?
They just keep going, man. I feel like
Besides seeing new products, that is my favorite part of FDIC. I get goosebumps all the time, every year when they come through, especially in the opening ceremonies.
Yeah.
It's great. Before we dive into DFR, Jason, I was wondering if you could just take us through Skydio a little bit for those who may not be familiar with the company.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bagpiper is a great break in the podcast. But yeah, Chris, appreciate it. Really excited to be here with you guys today and be on this podcast. My name is Jason LaFond. I'm a customer success manager with Skydio. I've been in public safety my whole career. Did 18 years in law enforcement. I've been a firefighter since I was 16, and current lieutenant in my fire company. So this is close to home for me. You know, Skydio is the leading U.S.-based drone manufacturer and worldwide leader in autonomous drone flight. And, you know, this is our first year at FDIC, and we couldn't be more thrilled to be here and supporting our firefighter partners here today. You know, really what autonomy means is that our drones are easy to fly and they're safe to fly. And what that means operationally is that, you know, fire service personnel can focus on being firefighters and not have to be expert drone pilots. And really that's where our product shines.
Rich, why don't you talk a little bit about how fire departments have already successfully integrated drones into their emergency operations?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Excuse me. And yeah, Rich Katanis, I'm with Southern Manatee Fire Rescue. We're in Manatee County, Florida. And we've been one of the trailblazers when it comes to drone technology in the fire service, and more specifically on the hazmat side. The fire service has always had a little bit of a challenge integrating drone tech into you know, our workflow, just because of the challenges of apparatus and who the pilots are going to be and whatnot. But you know, the use case, and once agencies and chiefs and administration start to see the real world, real time information that we can gather quickly on these scenes and any kind of safety issues and threats, what potentially has just become a game changer for those calling the shots from an incident command kind of perspective. So we've been fortunate to be kind of leading the way in some of those tactics and processes and whatnot. And obviously Skydio, we've been working with those guys now for a few years as we transition over into what we call Blue UAS. So.
Jason and I were talking just a little bit right before we started about a recent fire that I had responded to where we deployed drones, and I'll tell you, it was amazing how useful they are at different times. This was a massive industrial complex, 600,000 square feet. From the ground, you could not see what was going on on the roof, and we got them there quickly. But I think what you just said in terms of seeing how important they can be and seeing how useful they are. I mean, it's not that I wasn't a believer before, but holy crap, did it really make everything crystal clear about how important they have become to the fire service. I wanted to just switch a little bit and talk about DFR. We were talking a little bit about that, and just could you give a background on what DFR is and why it's a game changer for the fire service?
Yeah, absolutely. Good question. Yeah, so DFR stands for Drone as First Responder. It is really a concept of operations where the intent is to get the drone to a call for service location before ground units. So whether that's law enforcement personnel or fire trucks. To operationalize that, it's putting Skydio docks on strategic rooftop locations around location. And as soon as a 911 call comes in, there's a pilot who operates a drone behind a computer who flies the drone to that 911 call location. And while that drone is in flight, it's live streaming video back to decision makers. So that could be 911 call center who is assessing the location before ground units even get there. Your first due apparatus can view the live stream right on their MDTs in their trucks. And right now, fire service and law enforcement personnel respond to 911 calls essentially blind, right? We don't really know what we're getting into, right? Is it an automatic fire alarm, or is there a fire blowing through the second floor and there's trapped victims? So when first due apparatus arrive on scene, that's when all that process starts, right? The officer is doing an initial size up. They're relaying over the radio kind of what their next actions are, requesting additional resources. But think if we could do that while the truck was still responding. Right, so the drone could get there on location. The drone can do an essential 360 on that structure before even ground units arrive. Right, that's one of the things when you arrive on scene is do a quick 360 walk around of the building, looking for the hazards, looking for exposures. Why don't we do that while the truck is still responding? And then we identify those hazards. Right, we can redirect personnel to maybe an exposure or victims, and we're getting all this actionable intelligence from the air while we're still responding. So that is the concept of DFR. There are many use cases across public safety, so both in law enforcement and the fire service, but essentially it's getting the drone there on scene first, and then as ground units arrive, right, still continuing that live stream. So let's say it is a legitimate fire, right? Let's say it's a first alarm fire, it's a structure fire, right? Keeping that drone airborne to assess that situation as it evolves over time. Command staff, safety personnel can, tactically, create a strategy for fire suppression. Our X10 drone has a FLIR Boson Plus radiometric thermal camera on it, so we can actually tell the temperature of what's burning. So, this is truly a game changer for the fire service. And Rich, you're really close to the hazmat use cases, so I want you to talk about that. But just imagine if you have a drone in the sky, ground units on the street, can assess that rooftop, the safety of that rooftop, and look for fire load before even sending firefighters to that rooftop to do vertical ventilation. From a firefighter safety perspective, this is truly a game changer.
Yeah, and I'll add to that too. Just you mentioned earlier when we talked about having that eye in the sky and that big, broad view of the scene and how important that is. And so now, just imagine, right, the ability to have that view en route, right? We say in the fire service that the scene size up starts when the tones go off. A lot of times we're reading information that's either inaccurate or misleading or just not
even old
information, right? Being able to take that video stream, because you've already got an aircraft on scene within 2 to 3 minutes sometimes, and push that to our responders as they're flying in. Now they're starting to make decisions before they even arrive on scene, and using good intelligence to get there. So the dock side of things is going to be a huge game changer in the fire service, and I can tell you this just from an operations perspective. That's the biggest challenge. Like, who do we put into pull a drone out, fly a drone. If it's being flown from an operations center somewhere, and you don't have to dedicate guys on the ground to use that tool, it opens up. You still have all your resources, but yet you still have that commanding view of what you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, it's a force multiplier.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, I mean, you touched on it, Jason. I mean, like usually it doesn't start until we get there, and we're relying on our eyes to process that data quickly, communicate that data quickly. As you were talking, I was thinking again about that call that I mentioned, and the police were there before any fire units were, but then even still, so they're not going to do the same type of size up that we do unless they happen to also be firefighters in their free time. But you're also taking out the time it takes for them to call back to the dispatch to take that information, call it to the arriving team. So I mean, when you think about it, not only the force multiplier, because now we're not dedicating a person that's on the rig, but also just the time that you're saving. And like you said, I mean, I'm just, as we sit here, just coming up with all kinds. I mean, it contributes to firefighter safety as well. You are going to be able to see very early on. You're not going to have to send anyone in to do any investigating. Well, maybe there would need be some reason to go inside to do something. But I mean, like you said, if the fire is blowing out of the second floor on the back on two sides or something like that, you have a better idea of what your tactics are going to be.
And I'll expand on that a little more too, because again, we talked hazmat, right? So hazmat is a strange piece when it comes to using a drone. Why would you use hazmat for, and what we've developed in our way we do at Southern Manatee is we've found that we can really significantly impact our length of time on scene, the number of entries, the number of teams having to go into a hot zone or whatever, because we can gather so much information now by using a piece of equipment as opposed to using personnel. And I'll tell you, August in Florida in a level A is not where you want to be, right? So if we can get that first due information, the first one or two types of scenario or sorties out of the way, and then when our guys go in, because they're watching in real time what my pilot sees, entry team's watching it, they go in there, they're turning wrenches immediately. There's no identifying, there's no troubleshooting. We've done that work. Now they're going to go in and do the work. So that significantly impacts the safety of your guys, right? Again, August, Florida, 3-4 sorties in level A, you're going to be taxing that guy. And two, it significantly impacts the financial side of hazmat response. And we all know that hazmat's not your typical taxpayer-funded type of response, right? There's usually somebody on the hook for that.
Right.
So taking those response times and significantly diminishing them to the point where it's costing less to the parties involved, costs less to the district, it's compounding, and I always say this, everybody thinks about drones and, how many lives have you saved with the drone? And those are super important numbers. There's good number data out there for that. But there's parts of this that is impacted our response and how safely we can do things now. And it's hard to put a dollar amount on a lot of those things, but it's definitely huge.
Yeah, I mean, I think that speaks to firefighter safety too. Like, send the drone downrange in IDLH environments to assess what's going on. Right. And then create a strategy and address that situation, right, with an informed decision. I mean, we've talked about, overwatch of fires and hazmat use cases, but there are many use cases for drones in the fire service. Pre-event planning and mapping, fire investigation, cause and origin, training, recruitment, retention. I mean, these are all great uses. So, we're talking, DFR is kind of a more advanced operation, but every department can start somewhere. Right. But I think what most departments are challenged with is how do they start, right? It seems like starting a drone program is this massive thing and they need tons of funding, and there's a big regulatory component of it too as well, but there are a ton of resources out there, but it starts with one drone, right? You guys start with one drone, it starts with one drone. So get funding for one drone, get it into your department, integrate it into your operations, and then your leadership will see the value of drones, and hopefully then you can get additional funding and buy more drones and build out the program from there. But the starting place is one drone. Get one drone in your agency and allow it to provide value.
I've always said that in the fire service, it is often hard to get technology to be embraced because first of all, when you think of technology, sometimes you're thinking of software and ones and zeros, and so it's not tangible. But when it's tangible and when you can see immediately the effect that it's going to have in terms of making you even more efficient in what you do, that just goes such a long way. And sometimes you can only do that by getting that one drone, getting that first drone. Certainly, like I said, I mean, we had not used any drones on our scenes before, I mean, certainly that call, I mean, that just, it made everything crystal clear for us.
I also think we should partner with Firehouse Subs, and we should do sub delivery to fire
Yeah,
scenes.
let's do it.
Yeah,
Well,
that sounds
next
good.
year,
Yeah.
next year we'll
We'll be doing
maybe
drone
ne-
delivery for Firehouse Subs.
There you
next
go.
year.
They did all the hot lunches this year at
That'd
the
be
hands-on
amazing.
training,
Yeah.
man. You could
Firehouse
just bring
Subs,
them
give
right
us a
down.
call. We'll figure something out.
Talk a little bit about what you're doing at FDIC.
Yeah, so this is our first year at FDIC, and we're really excited to be here. There's just so much energy in this event. We did the Next Gen Tech Summit yesterday,
Okay.
so we had our drone out. We were able to highlight a few capabilities. We flew the X10. We had our dock out there. We were showing remote operation, so flying a drone through a browser at IFD's drill tower. It rained, it snowed, it sleet, and we flew through the whole thing, so we were able to highlight the capabilities of inclement weather and really get to see the participants. We wanted to open their eyes into the ability, right, of what drones can do in the fire service. And there was a scenario playing out. We were providing overwatch. We were tracking firefighters with some of our partners in that scenario. And I think everybody walked away really, with an understanding of what is possible, right? And again, speaks to like where to start. That's the challenge. What do I do, right? Understand I want to start a drone program, but just get that one drone, get something started. Look for other departments that are flying too as well. Collaborate with them is a good resource too. I know in Florida you guys have a great group. You're a strong advocate for drones and public safety in Florida.
Yeah.
You've been an innovator in your department. There are tons of resources out there.
Yeah, and I'm always available. I speak with agencies all the time because many fire departments are trying to figure out that way to get into the game, and we've been fortunate to step through all that muddy water to get here. But there's a ton of agencies out there that now help pave that way, and it's much easier to start these up than you might think.
Yep.
And I will say this too, our fire services, we're seeing the change that it's becoming more of a technology or technological driven type of fire service. A lot of the equipment we have is very technical, right? And so a drone is no different. So bringing on these new, younger generation of firefighters that are technically sound and can take this type of equipment and really be successful at it, whether it's a drone or different detection equipment, or I mean, all of our extrication stuff is no longer, it's all battery powered stuff. I mean, it's amazing what's changed in the last, 22 years that I've been on the job. So, you've got the guys in your department. They're there. The folks are there ready to push this thing out. We just got to empower them to be, the future of that's part of the safety, bubble of our response matrix.
Well, before I let you go, for those who cannot be at FDIC to talk to you, how can they find out more information on Skydio?
Yeah, great. Our website's a great place to first check it out, so skydio.com.
Okay, perfect. Well, again, my thanks to Jason and to Rich for sitting down with me today to talk a little bit about some of this. Thank you to the bagpipers for serenading us as we got started there. Again, and my thanks to Firehouse Subs. So again, this has been Chris McClune, FDIC International 2025, live at FDIC. Have a good one and stay safe.
Thanks all. Stay safe.
Thank you guys.